This week in Magic the Gathering news, we had the explosive debut of a new set, leaked cards from another upcoming set, insane presale prices, and some of the funniest misprints we've ever seen that may end up being pretty valuable. Fair warning before we hop into this first bit, if you're not interested in seeing leaked cards from an upcoming set, feel free to click forward in this video. Alright, everyone still with us? Cool. We got what appears to be our first look at cards from Reality Fracture this week, and if they end up being real, we're in for a pretty big set this October. 3 card images leaked on Monday, including a reprint of Chandra, Torch of Defiance, a new mono-blue Chandra, yes, mono-blue Chandra, and a red creature named Stingcaster Mage, which is basically a color-shifted version of Snapcaster Mage. First things first, there is no proof that these are actually real yet, so take everything we're saying here with a grain of salt. If these are real, then it means the suspicions are true, and Reality Fracture is going to be a newer version of Planar Chaos, where all the colors are mixed up and we see characters and cards totally reimagined with different colors. The blue Chandra is a mirror image of Torch of Defiance, doing everything the red version does, but in a very blue way. They even occupy the same illustration and seem to be fighting one another, so we're probably going to see some fan-favorite planeswalkers square off with their color-shifted counterparts. And hey, Chandra Torch of Defiance is pretty good. It was a big player when it first came out, so it's nice to see that one hopefully be reprinted again. The shattered glass effect on the art for Stingcaster Mage looks a lot like the art we saw on a leaked White Liliana card circling a few months ago, which makes it seem even more legit. Again, it's too early to say with 100% certainty that any of this is real yet, so we're just gonna have to wait and find out when Reality Fracture comes out in October. In the meantime, let us know in the comments which planeswalkers you think are going to get the color-shifted treatment and what new color they're going to end up in. I, for one, have some weird inkling that we're going to see a Selesnya Garruk. We'll see. Secrets of Strixhaven went live on Magic the Gathering Arena this past Tuesday, and people are stoked to dive into a brand new limited format. Silverquill is crushing it with an aggressive suite of gold cards. Lorehold is much better than it was in the original Strixhaven, and Witherbloom is also looking like a real contender. Prismari is good as always, and unfortunately, Quandrix is kinda looking like the caboose here, folks. Something super cool we spotted is this awesome tip from legendary limited player Jim Davis. Before you start opening packs, make sure to craft the mystical archives that appear at rare or higher but have lesser versions. We're talking about cards like Reprieve here. They will craft at the lowest possible rarity, so they won't take up a rare slot in your packs. Nice. So if you want to open more rares, make sure to craft all the cards that appear at lower rarity first. Speaking of the mystical archives, several of the more broken cards from it have been pre-banned in Historic. Many of these cards are infamous meta breakers, so you'll have to resort to using them in formats like Brawl or Timeless. Speaking of meta breakers, Prismari is back on top in the standard metagame. The introduction of Badger Mole Cub back in Avatar: The Last Airbender led to the long-awaited resurgence of green in the format, and that resurgence now appears to be ending. The meta spread is looking eerily similar to the oppressive era of Vivi Ornitier, with Izzet Lessons, Izzet Spelementals, Izzet Prowess, and Izzet Control representing a huge share of recent MTGO Challenge top 8s. In case you haven't heard, they changed the open rates for mystical archives in this set, so they're a little bit different than the way they worked in the original Strixhaven. While you do get a mystical archive card in each play booster, there's an absolutely microscopic chance of finding a mythic rare. Furthermore, the chances of finding an alt art or Silver Scroll foil are even lower. Japanese alt art Silver Scroll Mystical Archive Vampiric Tutor is currently going for around $600 on TCG Player. Flusterstorm is almost 400, Jessica's Will is 400, Crop Rotation is around 100. Yeah, rare cards. Consensus is that the Silver Scroll treatment is one of the best foil styles we've seen in years, and those rare and mythic rare Japanese alt arts are pretty much all commanding massive price tags. Keep in mind these are pre-release prices, which are generally a little bit inflated, but these numbers are still bonkers. Star Wars and Magic the Gathering? More likely than you think. Unfortunately, we're not getting a Star Wars Universes Beyond, but we did just get a bizarre batch of misprints that's got collectors scuttling. One Redditor noticed that the holographic stamp on their rares looked suspiciously like an X-Wing from Star Wars. It was later confirmed that due to a factory printing error, several Secrets of Strixhaven rares ended up with the holographic stamp for the popular Star Wars Unlimited TCG. and sellers in Facebook groups are already charging out the wazoo for these cards. For the past several years, you've got a tiny, and I mean really tiny chance of opening up a serialized card in collector boosters. Brothers War had the serialized retro artifacts, Lorwyn Eclipsed had the serialized Witherbloom Bearer, but Secrets of Strixhaven's is a bit more unique. Firstly, it's textless, and it does harken back to one of my personal favorite card frames and art styles. Secondly, it features the new Prepared mechanic, which basically staples a recastable spell to a creature. A little bit confusing to leave the text off of a card with a new mechanic, but we'll forgive it. Pre-sale on base copies of the Emeritus is around $30. It's hard to say exactly what will happen with the serialized one. There are only 500 copies in existence, so it'll definitely sell pretty high. The low end of eBay listings is currently around $3,000. The high end? $30,000. Nuts. And with the release of Secrets of Strixhaven, the secondary card market is going wild. Most of the big market movements today have been motivated by the new Elder Dragons. Sedgemoor Witch from the original Strixhaven has gone from $3.50 to well over $8. It works like a charm in Silverquill the Disputant decks, as well as Witherbloom the Balancer. And hey, it also goes pretty well in Blech Loafing Pest decks too. Afterlife Insurance is a funny card that's originally from Ravnica Clue Edition, but because it's from such a niche product, its price is going way up. It's a super efficient way to get a bunch of bodies on the board in Silverquill the Disputant decks, and it's currently going for $13. Diabolic Revelation is a ridiculously strong tutor card that only gets better in a Witherbloom deck. Giving this thing affinity for creatures is ridiculous and means that you'll easily be able to tutor up a ton of cards. It's currently selling for around $7, but foils are way pricier at around $30. And there we go, folks. Those are the biggest stories in Magic the Gathering this week. How are you feeling about Secrets of Strixhaven so far? I played Prismari in my first draft and I had a pretty good time, but I'm really excited to try Silverquill at my next one. I haven't opened any X-Wing misprints yet, but boy, I sure hope I do.